where my finger is, and we'll Jubilee clip it where my thumb is, and that's all it really needs. Doesn't need any more. That'll be protected from all the stones in a very, very vulnerable place, and there's not a lot I could do about it, other than build a bit of bodywork across there and down, but then that get in the way, doesn't it? So I hope it gets me out of trouble with an engineer's report and an MOT. Okay, the carburetors are out. There is sand everywhere in that engine bay from where I power washed all that down to clean up all the grease and dirt from the bodywork. Some of it did go down one of the throats a little bit, but I'm not bothered. I can get a hoover, I can get that out, it's not an issue, I don't think. So, first things first, because we've knackered that manifold up with that stud, I could probably heat that up and get that out, but I have one here that doesn't have any paint on it whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally get my drill, which is over here somewhere, with an attack, there it is. I'm going to try and get that out, bearing in mind I've lost the chuck key, and I'm going to run that wire brush, and I'm just going to basically clean that up as much as I can. Now comes the question about lacquering it or not. There you go. It's not as nice as I'd have liked it. It would have been nice if I could get a polishing mop over that and get some of them dark stains out, but that's just the way it came out, I'm afraid, and that came out quite good. And I'll tell you now, free of charge, I don't think that's going to stay on there for long. But the best part is it is petrol proof-ish and won't bubble if the carbs start to leak. So I think we can live with that. Now it's time to strip the carburetors. That's the first one pulled apart, and we have varnish in most places where we don't want it, but all in all it isn't that bad. That one needs wire brushing back. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think we'll be fine with a quick clean. Definitely get in there with a wire brush, and we do need to remove this piece so I can get inside that, because look at the corrosion in there. So we've got most parts cleaned. I've got one or two more things to do, but the carb itself, apart from inside there, I've got all the paint off it, but I'm going to I'm going to put some etch primer around it if I've got any left, and then quickly hit that with a different colour, and then we're going to put all the bottom half back in. We'll put that back on, but this I'm going to attempt to polish up. I'd like to see it polished. I think it would look nice. Don't have to, but why not? Right, I have just put a metallic copper brown over the etch primer. The same metallic copper brown I was going to use on the truck, but I changed my mind because it did not look right. Yeah, well, it's bronze is what they call it, Ford bronze or something. So I'll hit that with some lacquer, wire brush where the paint has gone that shouldn't, and then we'll put carby back together. Yeah, like that. That'll go well. It's going to look good on there. It's going to look really good on there. Instead of that horrible old red. Okay, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Getting ready to go to bed. I had to charge the battery up on the camera, so I thought I'd do a last minute thing. End of day now. Everything is nice and clean. Painted up that carb. I should do the same on the other one. We found so far sludge and dried fuel on the float chamber. I haven't as yet cleaned that up, but there is a scaling around that from the alley that needs sorting out. This, which worries me a little bit, because in that shaft at the very top was, I think it was rust, but I can't be 100% certain, but it was very gritty. I've cleaned that all out. We've still got to clean these up. There's not really much to them, to be honest, but there is, again, alley scale rot around them. Clean this up. There's no rubber parts on that, so we're alright. We don't need to replace it. We've got to clean that one up, and we've definitely got to clean that one up. That's the throttle screw. And I think, or was it similar to what I was looking at? No, that was for that actually. Got that wrong. Sorry. There it is. There's the throttle screw. We've got to clean that up because that little sucker was stuck solid, and that very nearly never came out. So we've got to polish this up tomorrow, clean that. We can put that back on. I'm going to just spray that on with some basic lacquer, nothing special. We've scraped out all of this. This was all corroded up. That's all nice and clean. And they then have to do exactly the same thing again to this one tomorrow. Give you an idea. So we've gone from this to this. I really think I should put 2K lacquer on that, because that's a bit more petrol proof than the muck that I'll put on it. You know carburetors, they just will leak if they want to. Well, it's a new day and I've been messing around with this. I've pulled the other one half apart and I found my first potential problem. This little part here, this plastic piece here, happens to have the same one in the other one, obviously, but the one in the other one is a dirty creamy colour like that. There you go. And the pipe up here on the one that I'm putting together there happens to be a larger diameter than the one here. I've checked the diameters down the bottom, they're the same, but at the top they're different. I'm not sure how much difference that will make, because I'm saying it like this is because I'm thinking this is a vacuum of some description, either for fuel to go up or where to go in, or fuel to go in. I don't know which of the two. I'm just worried about pressures. I may be worrying for nothing. I don't know. Anyway, we've got that back on temporarily. I've got to nip down to the tool station and get myself some gasket sealer. They do it in a big tube. What we've got to do, I've got to clean this off now because I oiled it up. And also, another thing I spotted that I did wrong, me being a dickhead, there's a little O-ring on the end of that. You're supposed to undo it from here. I went and knocked it out, and that little plate down there, I completely smashed it out. I have put the plate back in. It seems to be strong enough. I've dot punched all the way around the outside of that ring, so it shouldn't fall out again. And we'll see where we end up with it. Hell of a lot better. Pleased with that. Considering, I think that's come out okay. It's not perfect. If I wanted that a mirror finish, I should have sanded that down with some very fine wet and dry, get all the little pits and knocks and everything out, and then put polishing mop over it. But that's not really what I was after. Just want it cleaner. There we go. That's good enough. It's pretty well heaped up. Not a lot I can do about that. Now we've got to clean up the inlet with a wire brush. We ain't going to be doing anything special with that because we didn't with the other one. Right, we hit a problem. I found a hairline crack in my float and tried being one of the words, to melt it. Unfortunately, it didn't work because that crack then blew into a blooming great hole. So I've ordered another one. There we go. I've soon cracked in that one. It's about 10 minutes. What I've done is I bought a big wheel from Wilco's down the road, car store we got, and used the, and I don't know which is the rough one or the fine one, but I found this one to initially get rid of scratches, and this one at buff worked well, and then with a clean one just to do a final polish. Really, I wouldn't want to do that, and the reason why I wouldn't is it's full of miniature craters from when it was cast. That's not going to do very good. So yeah, I'll get the carburetor in. I can wash my hands first. I'll get the carb in, and then I'm going to put it all back together as if there's nothing wrong with the float, because if I don't, I'll lose stuff. Next thing is to clear this, get that manifold pulled apart, get that one rebuilt, and then there you go, there's the other one temporarily back together. I've got to sort that out. That little rubber hose there, that pipe seems to be blocked. I don't quite know what that's all about at the moment. I could really do with a download plan on how to circulate, because I was using that for the distributor. So all I can do today is that. So we've got the covers on. I've managed to fit that into there. That's going to be eventually channeled in to distributor, because this was the one that was on there originally. As you can see, the whole size is not that much different. I did wank up the thread because I tried to put that into there. Don't ask me why I was doing that, but I did, and it didn't work. So I've had to put that bolt in as best as I can, and put some JB Weld type stuff on it, which seems to be old, and so we ain't going to be taking that off again. We've got a plate to make, although there's no, I mean, we could just run 3 bolts in there actually, but it'd be nice to put a heavy plate over the top. That'd stop that from going anywhere. What else is there? That's it really. Tomorrow I'll remove all of this and transfer that over. That goes on the back. This is a pain. I need to make up a new one of those, but today I did buy myself a little treat for myself, step drill bits, so I can make that up. Not a problem. The wife also bought me something as well to treat me, because I was doing that car the other day, and the one thing I was missing was some decent Allen keys, so she bought me a set from Wilco's for 12 quid, bless her heart. So got those as well. So what else is there? Well, after we've got all of that put on, then we're going to take that part off the carburetor we spoke about and see if we can't, there it is, see if we can't hammer that back in. That's a problem, and it's going to be a problem until I fix it, and then we can put the cover on. Sake. Then I'll put the cover on, the water, and that should at that point be ready to put back on the vehicle. As you can see, I've hoovered up in here. Now that we've got full access to everything, we can start putting all the clips in place for the brake lines. So that's another job I'm planning to do this week before I upload. I'm going to take that hose out, extend it, and put that in at the bottom. Put all the red pipes in place, and pretty much do all of that. Okay, I've taken this today about as far as I can on the rebuild. I've ordered some 5mm connector nuts because I want to switch this around the other side if it's possible. Maybe even extend that one out as well. That way I can still get the cable in on that, and if I can't, what I might do instead is do some mods on that, so this can link to that and the cable can then fit onto that one instead. Painted up all the bracketry. Yeah, I'm quite chuffed with the way this is going at the moment, even though we've had... Right, I am not really sorry, because I decided I wanted to polish this up and I didn't want to film it because I wasn't sure how it was all going to play out, and that's the end result of something that was all corroded up and covered in powder coat. Don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near concourse like you'd expect with some, but it is my effort, and it took a lot of effort. I was here a good couple of hours, and what I did this time, and I learned this from that one, is this time I sanded it all down with different grades of sandpaper until I got it so it was almost scratch free and dead smooth, and this is as close as I can get to something that I would expect to see for sale in a custom shop, maybe used, if you see what I'm saying, because it's far from being perfect. I'm not going to admit that, but I am bloody pleased with this. Love to get some British flags to fit in there, but no, although I could etch prime that all up and possibly paint it, but who knows. That's where I've got it so far. I do have a flag sticker around here somewhere. Flipping hung up, there it is over there, but it won't fit that gap, unfortunately. So that's the first one. The second one I'll film. I'm just going to speed it up, so it's like all the way through, you know what I'm saying. Still haven't got the part from that. The guy's just updated the eBay, he sent it today. We ain't going to see that till next week, and I can't fit that until I have that ready to go in, and it's nowhere near ready. So So all I can do now is put them back together. I haven't got rid of all of the imperfections. I tried to sand them out, but I think I'll be sanding there a long while before I can get them down to a surface where there's no more bumps and cracks and whatnot. But they're way better than what they were, and that to me is acceptable. So we're just waiting for the float on this one, then I can put that back together, and then we can put that back in first, because I don't want to drop any nuts and bolts down with barrels. I want to put all of this back together, look into getting some pipe work for that to go onto that one and that one. These two have got to go together, I think now I'm going to finish for the day. Definitely going to finish for the day. Well, the good news is my new float has turned up. Got it. There it is. It's in. There's the old one. I tried to melt it, as you all know. Didn't work. I've rebuilt those now. All the clips are back on. We'll get that other carb put on later on. I've straightened out that rod. I've now got that working most effectively. The offending arm. Oh God, where is it? What am I looking at? I don't even know what I'm looking at now. That's at the wrong angle, that's why. Hang on. There we go. The offending arm. Oh, it's on the other carb, that's why, you dickhead. There it is, that nut. It was one of them elongated nuts. And I've replaced that. So that arm is no longer hitting now. Because this is not the original linkage. The original linkage is actually discontinued and you can't buy it anymore. And there's a little clip that clips over on that linkage on the other one. That was what was broken on it, so the ball joint wasn't staying on. I stumbled across that on something. I can't remember what it was on. It might have been a diesel pump or something. In fact, it may very well be that I saw these and decided I could do something with that and got some thread. So the thread might be my own. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. It was a long while ago. But it does work. It's a bit sticky in there for some reason. So we've got that sorted out. And that's now almost ready to go back together. So we've got to seal that, seal the top, bolt that in place. Then that can be put back in the car. We'll bolt that down. I don't have all the bolts I need. I've got to get my hands on a couple more UNFs because I'm short. I want that completely locked down so no water can get in whatsoever before we fire all up. The only thing I haven't done yet is the water temperature adapter. Because I'm not too savvy on threads, I need to get an adapter. I found an eBay page that sells all types. There it is up there. So I'm going to get an adapter for that when I've figured out what it is. In fact, if you're watching, Dan H, if you're watching, bud, any chance you can identify that for me, please? All I know about it is it came out of an American car, and it's the same as the thread on the Land Rover, except what it don't have is a shoulder for that little pod to sit in. So I've got to get a new adapter for that, and I need to know what that is, because that needs to be that both. Well, I say, Dan, anybody really, if anyone knows what it is, I'd be grateful, because that will save me a lot of aggravation. That actually fits in. That does actually screw into that, but as I said, there's no shoulder, so when you screw it in, the sensor just flies inside, and that's the end of it. And that will save me a fortune, because that gauge can be used there, and that works. I've already tested it and it does work, so that gauge will be useful. And I've just got to find another sensor for the other one, which is oil temperature, I think. So I need an oil temperature gauge, and then I need to get some sort of resistor pack to lower it. But I don't know, maybe it's probably just wise to get another gauge. Well, I'm going to wire brush those clusters up, and they're going to be fitted on top of the dash. Right, enough chitty chatter. Let's get the rest of these clips done. Oh yeah, that's what I've been doing. There you go, you can see I've been putting all the clips in. You can see the white ones. I've just got a few more to put in along there, because all this stuff's gone. I've got full access to everything, and I'm going to also make that silver cover up today as well, and then we should be good to go. And then I can put all of the ancillaries back in. We'll start plumbing all the fuel system up. I've got to get a fuel filter from somewhere, one of them clear plastic ones, but no big deal. Next week we'll tackle that welding that you know about under here. That has to be done, and I have to get on with that pretty soon. Once we've got that done, we'll finish the water pipes. Finish the water pipes off, put water in it, and then we'll get it moved. Now, I would film this, but he's got his music on next door and I'll get hit with copyright. So I'm just going to get on with it, it'll be quicker anyway. Okay, I have never been any good at laying brake lines out, right? And it's been made even harder by the fact that I've had to alter so much. So as you can see from there, half of it don't even fit. They're bent, they're out of shape. The only thing I can do is make a tool up to try and straighten some of them up. Now I'm going to run hoses over those ones so they don't rub. But I've clipped up everything else, bolted down there, clipped up down there. We've just got to replace that one. As you can see, it's completely fractured now. We've laid up here, but I want to squash these down a little bit better, so I'm going to get a chisel and squash them in with a hammer so they get a little bit tighter. They're all laid in down here. This one isn't. I need to do something with that, but I'll do that when the lid goes on, because I think I might just clamp to the lid. I don't think I need to do anything other than that. So yeah, pleased with that. There you go, it's all back together exactly the way it's meant to be. Apart from that needs replacing. I don't think I'm going to get a pipe in that, but yeah. So we've got those two hoses to do as yet, but I ain't got any hose to put in them. We can put the fuel inlay in first. We've got to put got a copper pipe around here somewhere. I'm going to use that, although I'm wondering if that might be too heavy. It might be too heavy, I don't know yet, we'll see. Where are we? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, there might be a pipe come out here with a piece of copper on the end, and then we'll turn that one that way, and then we'll link the two together, and I'll get some P-clips at a later date, P-clip the two hoses together so they can't move around, just to get it neat and tidy. And then we'll put an inline fuel filter on the back. On the back, everything is doing exactly what it is meant to do, whereas before it was not. Nothing is hitting. Springs moving, linkages are shifting, choke is nice and tight because I put that nut and bolt on the back of that. In the end, I did try to squash the metalwork down, but it wasn't happening. So that's gorgeous. I like that. It's done. That can now go back. They can now go back. Fuel lines, brake lines are all done, apart from one. I just can't get a hole drilled at the moment. I'm trying to figure a way of doing that. I might get the welder out, weld a nut on the bulkhead. That's what I think of. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. If it's raining tomorrow, heavy, won't be doing any of it. I'll just upload the video. So any moment now, you're going to find out what's coming. There you go, guys. As each week goes by, we get a little bit more progression. I'm gonna have to sort those tubes out over there though, definitely. But I am bloody happy with that. Yeah. So next week I'm going to order a thermostat. Next week we're going to order a thermostat. We're then going to get that all plumbed in properly. We'll get some air vents hose made to go from there into the carbs there, and another one to go in there. We'll get that sorted out. We'll get the fuel line and the fuel filter sorted out. The return fuel, a bit worried about that because that's a very small pipe go on there. So yeah, I am pretty pleased with this. The only thing I'm a bit concerned about is the gap. I've got to take a pipe off of that somehow, and it's got to go up on both sides. That's not going to be easy. I reckon we'll end up having to order in a load of turbo tube. I do actually have some, but don't know at the moment if I want to go down that route, but we'll see. So I've just detached that hose. Got a bit of hose down here which I'm going to use later, which is going to be used to do that base hose. So we've got a lot of clearing up to do on the hoses next. So next week we're going to try and get as much water system fitted as we can, bearing in mind I've got a pipe there, one there and one up there. They've all got to be linked together. That one's got to be put in, bottom ones have got to be put in, side one's got to be directed down, one's got to come off there and come all the way up, and I don't have any of this stuff. That's got to come off, be chopped, bent downwards. So I think we'll be alright with that in the end. So if we cut it, bend it down, weld it back up, repaint it, join, get some new pipes for the interior, join that all up, everything will be fine. Didn't go the way I planned though, I won't deny. Right, one last look. Right guys, that's it. I'm now going to get this video done. It's Saturday evening, must be about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that, late afternoon, evening. So next week I'll try and get, as I said, get the water system sorted out. We'll see if we can get those holes in the back welded up and get some fuel in that tank. We'll then weld some angle iron around the tank as well, and we'll see if we can get that floor back in, see if we can soundproof that floor a little bit as well so it ain't so clonky. And we'll seal that in permanently, although I shouldn't because I've got to change something under that, and that would be best not sealed. I don't know, we'll see how we go. So with that, I'm going to say thanks ever so much for your likes and your shares on the last video, and we'll definitely see you next week with a bit of luck. So with that, I'm going to disappear and see you next week. Thank you for your time and comments and likes and shares and laters.